Part 1, Small Town, Big Hearts, and a Few Bad Apples. The air in Harmony Creek was thick with the scent of freshly cut grass and Mrs. Gable's prize-winning apple pies, a fragrance that clung to everything like a friendly hug. It was the kind of town where everyone knew your name, your dog's name, and probably what you had for dinner last Tuesday. The kind of town where a wave and a howdy were currency, and community meant something real. Harmony Creek's heart was undoubtedly the Harmony Harvest supermarket. It wasn't just a place to buy groceries, it was a meeting point, a gossip hub, a vital organ in the town's circulatory system. Old Man Hemlock dispensed wisdom from behind the butcher counter, teenage girls swapped secrets by the magazine rack, and the local pastor could always be found perusing the organic produce aisle, looking for inspiration. At the center of it all, quite literally most of the time, was Kevin. Kevin Riley, at 28 years old, was a fixture at Harmony Harvest. With his neatly pressed uniform, his unwavering smile, and his quiet dedication, he embodied the spirit of Harmony Creek. Kevin had Down syndrome, but in Harmony Creek that wasn't a label. It was just another piece of what made Kevin. He took immense pride in his job, meticulously stocking shelves, arranging displays with almost artistic precision, and greeting every customer with genuine enthusiasm. He knew the regulars by name, remembered their usual purchases, and always had a kind word ready. He was a sunshine ray of positive energy in that store. His life wasn't without its challenges, of course. There were the occasional stares, the whispers, the ignorant comments that stung more than he let on. But Kevin possessed a remarkable resilience, a quiet strength that allowed him to brush off the negativity and focus on the good in the world. His parents, Tom and Mary Riley, had instilled in him a deep sense of self-worth and a belief in his own abilities. They had fought tooth and nail to ensure he received the same opportunities as everyone else, to be integrated into the community, to be seen, valued, and respected. And for the most part, they had succeeded. Kevin lived in a small apartment above, the local bakery, Sweet Surrender, run by the ever-cheerful Beatrice. She was like an honorary grandmother to him, always slipping him extra cookies and keeping an eye out for him. His favorite pastime was watching old movies, especially musicals. He knew every song from Singin' in the Rain by heart and would often break into impromptu dance numbers in his apartment, much to Beatrice's amusement. His best friend Sarah worked at the town's library. They had known each other since kindergarten, and she was fiercely protective of him. She saw past his Down syndrome, seeing only the kind, intelligent, and funny person he truly was. They spent hours discussing books, movies, and life, and she was his confidant, his cheerleader, and his rock. Harmony Creek was, for all intents and purposes, a good place, a safe place, a place where Kevin could thrive. But even in the most idyllic settings, shadows lurk. Part 2. The storm-brewing Angela Harding was not from Harmony Creek. She was a city transplant, a corporate lawyer with a sharp tongue, an even sharper mind, and a distinct lack of patience. She had moved to Harmony Creek 6 months ago, seeking a slower pace of life, a respite from the relentless pressure of her job. But Angela's idea of slower didn't quite align with Harmony Creek's reality. She found the town quaint, charming, even stifling. The constant friendliness, the lack of anonymity, the unwavering sense of community. It all felt foreign and, frankly, a little suffocating. She missed the anonymity of the city, the ability to blend into the crowd, to be left alone. She missed the convenience, the endless options, the constant stimulation. Harmony Creek was too quiet, too predictable, too nice. Her move had been driven by a personal crisis, a messy divorce, a period of burnout, and a growing sense of emptiness. She had hoped that a change of scenery would bring clarity, healing, and a new sense of purpose. Instead, she found herself feeling even more lost and disconnected. She bought a sprawling, modern house on the outskirts of town, a stark contrast to the cozy historic homes that characterized Harmony Creek. She kept to herself, rarely interacting with her neighbors, and made no effort to integrate into the community. People tried, of course. Mrs. Gable brought her a welcome pie, which Angela politely declined, citing dietary restrictions, and the local book club extended an invitation, which Angela politely ignored. But Angela remained aloof, a detached observer in a world she didn't quite understand. She worked remotely, her days filled with conference calls, legal briefs, and the constant hum of her laptop. She rarely ventured into town, preferring to order groceries online and have them delivered. But today, she needed a specific ingredient for a recipe she was trying, saffron of all things, and Harmony Harvest was the only place that carried it. So, grudgingly, she made the trip. From the moment she stepped into the store, she felt out of place. The cheerful greetings, the friendly smiles, the casual conversations. It all grated on her nerves. She grabbed a basket and navigated the aisles with a sense of impatience, her eyes scanning the shelves, her mind already racing ahead to her next conference call. She was a woman on a mission, a woman with no time for small talk, no patience for delays, and no understanding of the unique rhythm of Harmony Creek. Part 3. The incident, the scene unfolded as described earlier. Angela, impatient and self-absorbed, encountered Kevin at the checkout counter. Her initial annoyance quickly escalated into outright rudeness, fueled by her own internal turmoil and her inability to connect with the world around her. The R word, dropped with such casual cruelty, hung in the air like a poisonous cloud. Kevin, though accustomed to occasional insensitive remarks, felt a sharp pang of hurt. He had worked hard to earn his place at Harmony Harvest, to prove his worth, to be seen as a valuable member of the community. Angela's words undermined all of that, reducing him to a label, a stereotype, a target for her frustration. But Kevin, as always, tried to remain calm. He focused on the task at hand, bagging the groceries with deliberate care, trying to block out the negativity. Then, the eggs. The accidental spill, the sticky mess, the culmination of Angela's simmering anger. It was the tipping point. "This is exactly what I'm talking about," she snapped, her voice rising. "Why would they even let someone like you work here? This isn't a daycare." Her words were like a slap in the face. Kevin froze, the paper towel clutched in his hand. The air seemed to thicken, the sounds of the store fading into a muffled hum. He could feel the eyes of the other shoppers on him, the judgment, the pity, the uncomfortable silence. But it was Angela's next words that cut the deepest. Leaning in close, her voice dripping with condescension, she muttered, "I don't have time for this. You shouldn't be working here if you can't even handle something this simple." Kevin swallowed hard, his throat tightening. He wanted to disappear, to shrink into the floor, to escape the searing humiliation. He fought back the tears that threatened to spill, refusing to give Angela the satisfaction of seeing him break down. He continued to wipe up the mess, his hands trembling slightly, his heart aching with a pain he couldn't articulate. Angela, oblivious to the depth of his pain, grabbed her purse and prepared to leave, dismissing the entire incident as a minor inconvenience. But someone was watching. Someone had heard everything. Someone was about to intervene. Part 4. The owners. Stan Mr. Daniels, the owner of Harmony Harvest, was a man of quiet dignity and unwavering principles. He had built his business on the foundation of respect, fairness, and community. He treated his employees like family, and he wouldn't tolerate anyone disrespecting them, especially not in his store. He had been observing the situation unfold from a nearby aisle, his anger building with each passing word. When Angela launched her cruel attack on Kevin, Mr. Daniels knew he had to step in. "That's enough," he said, his voice calm but firm, cutting through the tense silence. Angela, startled, turned to face him, her expression a mixture of defiance and annoyance. Mr. Daniels, a man of average height with salt-and-pepper hair and kind eyes that could turn steely in an instant, stood his ground, his arms crossed, his gaze unwavering. He recounted her actions, her insults, her blatant disregard for Kevin's feelings. He spoke with a quiet intensity that commanded attention, reminding everyone in the store of the values that Harmony Harvest represented. He challenged Angela's sense of entitlement, her assumption that she could treat others with impunity. He exposed the ugliness of her prejudice, her willingness to tear down someone she perceived as beneath her. His words resonated with the other shoppers, who had witnessed the incident with growing unease. They were a community, and they wouldn't stand for one of their own being treated with such disrespect. Part 5. A hollow. Apology faced with the weight of Mr. Daniels's disapproval and the collective disapproval of the community, Angela wilted. Her defiance crumbled, replaced by a grudging, insincere apology. "All right," she said, shrugging one shoulder. "Fine, I'm sorry. Are we done now?" The apology was hollow, devoid of any genuine remorse. It was a mere formality, a desperate attempt to escape the uncomfortable situation. Mr. Daniels, recognizing the lack of sincerity, was not satisfied. He knew that a forced apology meant nothing, that it wouldn't undo the damage that had been done. "See, here's the thing," he said, his voice hardening. "I've been running this place a long time, long enough to know when someone actually means what they say, and when they're just trying to get out of trouble." Angela's eyes narrowed, her anger flaring anew. She resented being called out, being challenged, being held accountable for her actions. Part 6. Banned from Harmony. Harvest. Mr. Daniels, unwavering in his commitment to protecting his employees and upholding the values of his store, made a bold decision. He banned Angela from Harmony Harvest. "You're done shopping here," he said simply. "Go ahead and leave." Angela was stunned, her face registering a mixture of disbelief and outrage. She couldn't believe that she was being kicked out of a store for expressing her opinion, for being honest. But Mr. Daniels stood firm, his resolve unwavering. "You're right," he said. "I can't throw out paying customers, but I can throw out bullies." The silence in the store was deafening. Angela gaped at him, searching for a response, but finding none. Defeated and humiliated, she grabbed her purse and stormed out of the store, leaving her groceries behind. As she reached the door, Mr. Daniels called out one last thing. "I hope someday you figure out why this happened," he said. "For your sake." Part 7. Aftermath. The atmosphere in Harmony Harvest shifted. The tension that had gripped the store began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of relief, a sense of justice. Served. People resumed their shopping, but something had changed. There was a renewed sense of community, a deeper appreciation for the values that Harmony Creek held dear. Kevin, still standing behind the register, was overwhelmed by the outpouring of support. Customers offered him kind words, smiles, and gestures of appreciation. He felt a surge of gratitude, a sense of belonging that had been shaken but not broken. Mr. Daniels approached him, offering a few words of encouragement and a pat on the back. "You did good, Kevin," he said. "You handled that with grace and dignity." Kevin, his voice still a little shaky, thanked him for standing up for him. "It was the right thing to do," Mr. Daniels replied. "We don't tolerate that kind of behavior here." Part 8. Ripple Effects. The incident at Harmony Harvest had a ripple effect throughout the community. Word spread quickly, and people rallied around Kevin, expressing their support and condemning Angela's actions. Sarah, Kevin's best friend, was furious when she heard what had happened. She confronted Angela at the local coffee shop, delivering a blistering lecture on empathy, respect, and the importance of treating everyone with kindness. Beatrice, the bakery owner, baked Kevin's favorite cake, a chocolate fudge masterpiece, and presented it to him with a warm hug. Old Man Hemlock, the butcher, gave him a free steak, declaring him a true hero. The local newspaper ran a story about the incident, praising Mr. Daniels for his principled stand and highlighting Kevin's positive contributions to the community. Part 9. Angela's Reflection. Angela, meanwhile, was reeling from the experience. She couldn't believe that she had been kicked out of a store, publicly shamed, and vilified by an entire community. She felt angry, resentful, and misunderstood. She told herself that she had been unfairly targeted, that Mr. Daniels had overreacted, and that the people of Harmony Creek were narrow-minded and judgmental. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. Mr. Daniels' words, "I hope someday you figure out why this happened," echoed in her mind. She couldn't shake the image of Kevin's face, the hurt in his eyes, the quiet dignity with which he had handled the situation. She began to question her own behavior, her own assumptions, her own values. Was she really that out of touch? Was she really that insensitive? She spent the next few days in isolation, replaying the events in her mind, searching for answers. She avoided going into town, afraid of facing the judgment of the community. She started to examine her own life, her own choices, her own loneliness. She realized that she had been so focused on her career, on her own ambitions, that she had neglected the things that truly mattered: human connection, empathy, and kindness. Part 10. A small step forward. One afternoon, Angela decided to take a walk. She wandered through the town, observing the people, the shops, the quiet beauty of Harmony Creek. She found herself drawn to the local library, the place where Kevin's friend Sarah worked. Hesitantly, she walked inside. Sarah, recognizing her, greeted her with polite but cautious reserve. Angela apologized for her behavior at Harmony Harvest. It wasn't a grand theatrical apology, but it was sincere. She admitted that she had been wrong, that she had acted out of anger and frustration, and that she had failed to treat Kevin with the respect he deserved. Sarah, surprised by her sincerity, listened patiently. She explained to Angela about Kevin's challenges, his triumphs, and his unwavering spirit. She helped Angela to understand the importance of inclusion, acceptance, and celebrating diversity. Angela left the library feeling a glimmer of hope. She knew that she had a long way to go, that she needed to change her perspective, her attitude, and her behavior, but she was willing to try. Part 11. Redemption. Angela began to make small efforts to integrate into the community. She started attending town events, volunteering at the local animal shelter, and even joining the book club, much to the surprise of its members. She made a point of being kind and respectful to everyone she encountered, regardless of their background or abilities. She even returned to Harmony Harvest, offering a sincere apology to Mr. Daniels and a heartfelt apology to Kevin. Kevin, forgiving and compassionate, accepted her apology with a warm smile. Angela's transformation was gradual, but it was genuine. She learned to appreciate the simple joys of Harmony Creek, the warmth of its people, and the importance of community. She found a new sense of purpose in helping others, in making a difference in the lives of those around her. She learned that her true happiness wasn't found in material possessions or professional success, but in human connection, empathy, and kindness. Part 12. The Harmony. Creek Way Harmony. Creek in turn welcomed her back with open arms. They recognized her efforts, her sincerity, and her willingness to change. They understood that everyone makes mistakes, that everyone deserves a second chance, and that true community means accepting people for who they are, flaws and all. The incident at Harmony Harvest became a reminder of the values that Harmony Creek held dear, a reminder of the importance of standing up for what's right, and a reminder of the transformative power of kindness and compassion. Kevin continued to thrive at Harmony Harvest, his smile shining even brighter, his heart filled with gratitude and love. He became a symbol of hope, a reminder that everyone has something to contribute, and a testament to the power of acceptance and inclusion. And Angela, once a detached and cynical outsider, became an integral part of the Harmony Creek community, a living example of the possibility of redemption and a champion for the values that had once seemed so foreign to her.